Here we go. Salvation Army and Walmart getting together to stuff the bus, pardon me. Whether back to school means going into the school or remote learning, the need for those school supplies remains the same. And in these times, the need for some families is greater than ever. So once again, as I mentioned, Salvation Army of Kent County is hoping you'll help them stuff that bus to help families out. We've got Mika Ranilla on with us. He's the auxiliary captain from the Salvation Army of Kent County. Good morning, Mika.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, thank you so much for joining us. So tell us a little bit about this partnership. You've been doing it for a while. I think we're all familiar with Stuff the Bus, but Salvation Army and Walmart, what are you guys up to?
That's right. Well, last year, I have been here in town for a year now. And last year in August, we had the Stuff the Bus event. We had a lot of people participate. We used the 4 Walmarts here in Kent County, Alpine Street, 28th Street store, down in Grandview, and also down on 54th Street. And so the 4 Walmarts here collected a lot of toys and well, not toys, I'm sorry. They collected backpacks and school supplies, and they were then given to children and families in the community that needed help last year. We're planning on having even more help from the community this year because of the pandemic that's going on. There's a lot more need, and people obviously don't have the resources that they may have had in the past because of unemployment and everything else. Kids need a lot of help. And so starting Friday, until Sunday evening, the Walmart stores here in Kent County will be collecting all of the supplies that people will donate and want to donate to the Salvation Army for distribution for school kids. That will happen on August 15th.
You know, I just recently did school shopping with my 10-year-old and preschooler, and the list looked a bit different than it did in past. You're talking there were some hand sanitizer, and there was sanitizing wipes and all these things on the actual list. Are the lists different this year, like the materials, especially when it comes to remote learning? Is there a different list than normal than you've had in the past?
Well, the list that we have this year is the same list that we had last year. But obviously, because there will be distance learning taking place, it's going to be a little bit different in terms of the supplies and the amount of supplies. But there will be a lot more kids who will need that because everybody is doing things online. They're not going to be sharing things at school, for example, in the classroom. Everybody needs to have their own supplies. And so the list is pretty much the same that we had last year. We will provide a list to the customers who go to the Walmart stores to help them figure out what it is that is needed. And I wish we had laptop computers for all the kids that people would somehow collect and get, but I think that's part of the school and the education board. It's up to the schools to do all of that. But that is a big purchase if anybody had to do that.
That's an amazing expense to have that many Chromebooks or whatever they're using,
right.
But it sure would be fine and dandy if that happened. Hey, you've adapted your services to ensure that the children in every community can continue receiving the educational support they need to be successful. And there are many children in Kent County whose parents are making that tough choice between school supplies and groceries or electric bills. Talk about the people that you're helping.
Well, if the numbers turn out to be bigger than what we had last year, all I can say is what happened last fall when we had the distribution. We had a lineup out the door in our parking lot here at Fulton Heights Citadel, which is the church, the distribution point that we have. And we had 250 kids who received backpacks and school supplies. And the supplies went really quickly. We started at 10 o'clock in the morning, and by noon, it was all done. So people were lined up earlier than 8 o'clock in the morning just to get into the building to get these supplies. So there will be a lot of families and a lot of children who will be helped by this project. And the Kroc Center, for example, they deliver and take, last year they took all of the school supplies to some of the local schools in that area. But the area that I am responsible for here in the northern part of Grand Rapids, the folks came here to our church to pick up the supplies. And the Alpine Street store and the 28th Street store, they have a vehicle in front of the building with banners saying "Stuff the Bus." And this year, the difference is last year, for example, because of pandemic wasn't here last year, we had volunteers who were out at the stores throughout the day collecting the goods. This year, we can't have volunteers. We will have collection bins. The Walmart stores will be posting announcements throughout the store, throughout the day, saying to the customers that please remember the Salvation Army, as Walmart and Salvation Army are joining together to collect these supplies for school kids. And we'll be checking the bins several times throughout the day, and we will be bringing goods back to this location here at our church. And we'll stockpile it until we distribute it on the 15th.
You mentioned many different locations there. Northern part, you got the Kroc Center. How many different locations or events like this are taking place with the Salvation Army and Walmart?
Well, we have 4. There's 4 Walmart stores here in our community that we're going to be working with.
So we'll have 4 in our area, and if you think about it, this is happening at all the Walmarts across the country. Probably thousands of places that you can go to as long as you're near a Walmart. Thank you so much for the time.
That's right. And there's actually, I was going to say there are 4,500, more than 4,500 Walmart stores in the country, and they are all participating in this project this weekend.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much for that information and for what you're doing for families here in West Michigan and across the area. Stuff the Bus, Salvation Army and Walmart, August 7th
That's
through
right.
9th.
Thanks so much.
You bet. Purchase, drop off those requested items at collection bins at the front of each store. You want more information? Right there, website on your screen, sakentcounty.org. Thanks again for joining us.